life and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
And 100% Math. Invest in your child's academic success. Visit 100%math.com or call 547-9817.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
All right. Good morning, everyone. This is so weird because I can hear a slight delay in my headphones, so I'm take the headphones off at this point. But this is Kathy Miller, your host for The Business Buzz. I am in Cayman, Brac for our first ever airing of The Business Buzz in the Sister Islands. So that's a pretty big deal for us, and I'm very excited to announce that in this segment, bright and early for us this morning, I have, from the Department of Planning, I have Haroon Pandui, Director of Planning. I have Richard Milan, Planning Officer, Policy and Development. That's a weird title that they gave you, Richard. I feel like they should make it a little more clear. And after that, we have Mr. from the Central Planning Authority. We have Ian Perdo, Chairman, and Mr. Handel Whitaker, Deputy Chairman. Good morning, gentlemen. How are we all doing today?
Good morning to your listeners.
Thank you for joining me. Now, we know that why we're here. Last night was the Cayman Brac edition of the public consultation for Plan Cayman, right?
Yes.
Big thing for the Cayman Islands here, right? And there was a lot of interesting comments made from last night's meeting. That's what we're going to talk about, really, is the Plan Cayman proposal, and specifically more for the Sister Islands, Cayman Brac, because that's where we're at. That's what the meeting was for last night, right? So, I want to get into, I guess, kind of the history of the development plan for the Cayman Islands, because I think it was 1977, the first development plan for Cayman came around, and then about 20 years later, 1997, the next one came, and that's still the development plan that we're operating from, right? So it's been about 25 years or so since we had one. What is the common, you hear a lot of people on the road being like, why is there no development plan or an updated one for the Cayman Islands? And we do have one, working on updating it, but what is, I guess, the time frame in when we should adopt a new development plan for our country? Whoever wants to take it.
Morning again to your listeners, and again, thank you for the opportunity. As set forth in the Development Planning Act, there is actually a 5-year window after which a development plan should be reviewed, and subsequently, if it's deemed necessary, updated. So, needless to say, we're a little bit behind on that, but we've accepted where we've been, but we've got a clear path as to where we're going, and we look forward to rolling out the new development plan for the Cayman Islands in short order.
Anybody else want to add? No? Okay. A little bit of research that I was doing in the limited time that I had, I thought it was maybe about every 15 years for bigger nations like the UK, for example, and they did have a review process as well every 5 years. So what I saw in the Plan Cayman proposal, the draft proposal that we're all looking at in the public consult meetings, that there is a review process that is put in every 5 years. But Haroon, as you mentioned, that's not really being, the review process wasn't really happening before. These are reasons as to why. Are they political? You would think that this would be something that we're interested in reviewing.
Most definitely. I would suggest that one of the challenges that we've had is because the development plan is such a heavy lift. It covers so many things, and when you get into the sort of individual property rights, hopes, aspirations, etc., it does almost take on a life of its own, and it just becomes one of these things that even from a sort of just mentally trying to wrap your head around it, it becomes such a heavy lift that it becomes convenient to sort of keep pushing it down the road and saying, well, it's one of those things that you need to get it done, but you'll still get to it tomorrow, and tomorrow just keeps never coming. So that's why we sort of took this new approach to actually break it down into the smaller bits and pieces, the area plans, which again is why we're here to talk about an area plan for Cayman Brac, one specifically for Little Cayman. So we're gonna take this huge elephant that sort of keeps wandering around, that everyone says needs to be corralled, needs to be focused, and we're going to break it down into small bits and pieces so that we can actually, after at long last, get to plans that are up to date or modern, that actually meets the needs of the community, and that we can get into a proper review cycle of updating these plans for the benefit of all.
Gentlemen, are you adding?
I totally agree with what the director said. For far too long, this plan has been kicked down the road, and our islands are being developed more and more every day. Actually, we can see it if you drive down the road. So the time has come when we need to implement this plan for the benefit of all of our population.
What risks come with the lack of a modernized development plan for the Cayman Islands?
Coming from Northside, and I'm speaking from a point of view that east and Northside, I'll give you a prime example. Our population has increased drastically. If we have an accident on the road, and I'm talking about roads now, and you're coming from Northside, there's a distinct possibility that it'll take you 2 hours to get in town. And it is. I can remember when I had my business in town 15 years ago. I could leave Northside at 7 o'clock, and 7:30 I was in town. Now, if I leave Northside at 7:30, the possibility exists that I might get in town by 8:30 because of development, more people, more cars. So it is really significant that we get this plan in place. It'll be beneficial to all of us.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to risks?
Well, I think one of the risks without having a plan, without having rules, is that you don't really know as a landowner what might come forward in your neighbourhood. I think with a clear set of rules, you're thinking kind of on a macro level, what could the future of something like Cayman Brac be? But then on a very local level, you live in a residential neighbourhood, you want the certainty that next door to you is going to be a compatible use. It's not going to be a workshop or a kind of noisy business industry that's going to interrupt your kind of day-to-day life. So it's having that certainty as a landowner, as a neighbour, as a resident, part of your community. You just want to know how that's going to evolve over time.
I think one of the things that we can all agree with is the population growth. I don't know if we all expected the population growth, especially after COVID, to kind of jump how it did, but it did. We all know that if we want development and change, and for every nation to kind of continually succeed and thrive, there has to be change, right? Otherwise, that nation just kind of dies off. So it's going to include, more people, more developments, and whatnot. I'm not sure how much the last plan considered population growth, but in this current one right now, I guess is the proposed plan considering the population growth in the future, whether it's 5 or 10 years from now, or even much further down the lane?
Yeah, I think there's kind of an awareness, and we've been sort of suggesting it in our presentations, that if growth does happen, it doesn't have to happen in a way that kind of takes up all of your land in one go. We can be more thoughtful about the footprint of buildings, about densifying certain neighbourhoods, and that's sometimes a bit of a scary word, that people feel high density means high rise, and that's not true. High density could be kind of more compact, more vibrant, more interesting kind of town centres, and it's about defining where those places would be, and those are the kind of mixed use places that support walking neighbourhoods and public transportation, and then just having that balance between that kind of higher medium density growth and then areas that are more open, and that we're leaving them for the environment or for recreation or for open spaces. So it's, as I say, it always comes back to the balance. It's balance between growth and it's balance between uses.
Now, for me, and I'm sure many people out there, it's the first time I've ever looked at a development plan for a country. And it's great information to have. It's great that we can access it and be part of a public consult to give our input as residents. But there's some things I don't understand. So I know that in this plan, area plans have been introduced. Can you describe what area plans are? I think it's 11 area plans. I might have it wrong. Area plans have been introduced in a bunch of different zoning areas and zoning overlays. Can we get an idea of what area plans are, why that's needed, how it will affect zoning, and the zoning overlays?